welcome to the October edition of Recapping the Arts. I am Scott Aaron Martell, joined as always by Judy Paxman. Judy, happy October.
Happy October.
We had a wacky meeting last night. I thought it was a new one for me. I was told that it was going to be like nothing on the agenda. We were going to focus on this talking about the elections for our board and stuff. But it was a little bit of mix,
there were certain things.
And there was a game involved.
There were certain things that we had to talk about just because they're coming up before our next meeting, and we needed to make sure that Halloween in the Park is coming up before our next meeting. The Harvest Craft Show is coming up before the next meeting, artist-only craft show. And there's one other thing that was coming up before the next meeting. Oh, the Hannaford Helps Reusable Bag fundraiser, that's coming up. So we wanted to just touch base on those while we had this captive audience. And then everything else was talking about voting in our new board and also talking about how we wanted to use our resources. So we did play a game.
And there was cups and bingo chips?
Bingo chips. So everybody got 3 bingo chips, and the 3 bingo chips represented 3/4 of all the money that the Arts Council has. And we talked about how do we want to use our money. So this was the putting your money where your mouth is game. Of the 1/4 of the chips, so the 4th chip, we are saying, okay, that's in savings. Now, where do we want to put the rest of the
Should the folks at home, should they be getting like a piece of paper, best number 2 pencil, and a calculator for this?
No, they can just listen if they're actually watching. So anyway, one of the options was to put more money into savings, or where do we want to spend our resources? We won't take you through the whole thing, but the group of 18 people that were there, chose these items right here. I don't know if this viewing audience can see them or not, but we have art classes that are skills-based, not the social paint and sippy kind of things, but skills-based art classes was something people really wanted to see. They also wanted to see more art shows, and we can talk about the Art Nook later if you want to.
Sure.
Putting our resources towards the Youth Art Show. This will be its 5th year this year. It's a big deal. The kids love it. We get, so many people at it. And the shocker was advertising. That's something we struggle with. We have so many events, and we have some great stuff, and half the time after the event is over, people are like, oh, I never knew. I wish I'd known. So we're probably going to be putting some more money towards advertising and figuring out how we get the word out. So if our studio audience or if our listening audience has any suggestions, give us a call or send us an email, show up at an event and tell us how we could do better.
It's always a mystery trying to figure out who's going to show up to these things.
Yeah, and we're fortunate with the libraries getting their community calendar, and now through Local Hop we can actually sell tickets to things, and we can track some events that way, possibly.
And what did you say, through Local what?
Local Hop is the community calendar that the Swanton Public Library is going to be using. That's going to be rolled out soon.
And how do people access that?
That's a good question. Tune in next month.
That's come up, though.
Yes, it's
this meeting that you... I don't know what it was called, the one you double booked on and had me and Joanne go to at the St. Albans.
Yeah. So the Vermont Arts Council was doing a sort of a creative summit.
Met some interesting people there, some new faces, some old faces, but that was something that keeps coming up, is this mysterious community calendar, trying to get everything in one page or whatever so people know what's going on.
Well, I find it highly amusing that people everywhere say, oh, there's nothing going on in Swanton. And I'm thinking, are you serious? I don't get a night off. There's like stuff all the time, and I have to pick and choose because there's too many things. And sadly, people don't know about it. So trying to cage that beast and figure out how we can get it fed to the...
Just the library alone has enough activity there to kind of keep...
Yeah,
something for everybody.
Yep, and the Arts Council with the things that we're not quite 5 years old yet, and we've gone from there's nothing art related in Swanton to do at all, and in that time we've changed it up. So now we can't do all of it. Like one person can't do it all. You can't do it all. You won't have a life. There's too many things going on. We just had Marie Spears' art show opening
For
at
her
the Art Nook,
photography,
for her
which is
photography
beautiful.
and her barn quilts, which are gorgeous, and the barn quilt classes that she teaches, and it was amazing. It was just an amazing show. And then this week we had our Arts Council meeting, which is a great networking time. We've got
Art journaling tonight.
tonight is art
There's
journaling.
a song circle at the library tomorrow
Tomorrow night,
night. There's the writers group on Thursday night.
Right, yep. And I think Friday, I'm going to just hide in a hole somewhere because I'm exhausted at that point. You know, there is something going on all the time. I think Saturday is, there's a Halloween makeup class going
that
on at the
also at the
library. That's at the library. And then the Duck Derby is going on that day.
I'm going to tell you what I did over the weekend, and you tell me what you did. I already know, but it's a lead.
I'm not sure if I remember the week. Oh, yes, I do.
I remember your weekend.
I remember the weekend. Okay.
Even though I didn't take part in any of
Okay,
it.
yes,
but,
yes.
So I did the St. Albans Farmers Market,
Yes.
and I was stuck not in a pejorative or
You're
negative.
placed between.
I was pleasantly placed between Mita Strick and
She's amazing.
Jeff from your Tai Chi, and also Maggie T's delicious bread.
Yep.
And that was a great day, and I want to thank Robin for having me. That was the second time that I played the farmers market.
Mita Strict is very involved in the artist in residence.
Yes.
And that's one of the groups that we identified last night that we talked about as wanting to do more fun stuff with.
We keep talking about something. I think at the beginning of 2020 is when things will.
A lot of things are getting
start to
booked out
happen.
to 2020 at this point. It was also the new Fairfax Arts Council. Janet Suave is going to be heading to that.
At that Vermont Arts Council meeting I went to in your place, there was a young man, I don't remember his name, but he was representing the Fairfax Arts Council. Also, I met, I think it's Suzanne, but I think she may go by Susie Hull Cassavant. Do you know her?
Oh, that name sounds really familiar.
Involved with the Enosburg Opera House, which after I played the Farmers Market, and then I played Travel Cup, which is our sponsor.
Yes,
once again.
Thank you.
Hi, Travel Cup.
Thank you.
I went to the Enosburg Opera House for my first time and saw Marie Reagan and Jack Dodd just shine in the whole Patsy Cline story, A Closer Walk, I think it was called.
I was very disappointed that we were not able to connect with Marie to get her to be involved in Swanee 4, What the Flock, the musical.
Which is let me just add one thing. I think they had a very successful run. It ran for 3 nights, and a matinee ended the series on Sunday. And I think it was very well received and well attended. So I'm happy for them. But I posted, and I'll say it's worth repeating, but I think Jack and Marie played the roles that they were born to play.
Nice.
It was like perfect fit. So that was my a little look into my weekend. But you were doing movies.
We were making movies. So we'd finished the filming for the Swanee 4, What the Flock, the musical.
You're still going with that title?
Yes, because that's the title. So that's why we're going with it.
Do we know why that's the title? Can you explain how the title What the Flock adds? How does that tie into the the narrative of the
musical?
The musical? Yeah.
Because
people really want to know that.
I know, and I don't understand why people don't get it. I think it's because maybe these people are simple, but
wow.
Because I know these people are
very hostile.
Yes, it is. So What the Flock, besides being very funny, we are the Flock. So the Swanton Arts Council is also kind of known as the Flock.
Okay, that's the first I'm hearing of this.
Because they're swans, kind of Swanton kind of thing. Anyway, so What the Flock, there's also has a sort of like lends itself to another saying, but this movie is really going to be a cliffhanger because we don't know the ending yet. We have filmed 2 endings. And the only way you can find out how it goes and if the hero makes it through or doesn't make it through this whole series is by going to Northwest Nightmares on Monday. Is it the 28th? Monday the 28th.
That sounds
28th,
about
yeah.
right.
Whatever the Monday of Northwest Nightmares is, buy your tickets now. There's only 100 left, so it's time to get your tickets if you haven't already. I don't know the ending yet, and I won't know until I see it on the big screen because we filmed 2 different endings, and we don't know which one's going to be chosen.
Now, there's crazy, crazy rumors on the street that you actually might be giving up this project.
There will be a new director and producer for Swanee 5.
Has this been released to the press, or are we breaking this
This
here?
is sort of breaking news. Breaking
Holy
news
moly.
here.
Who's taking this beast on?
That will be. I haven't really asked them if the.
So we better not.
We
say
better not say,
anything.
but it is going to Swanee 5, or Swanee will continue in some form or
And
another.
you are retiring as a movie producer.
No, not necessarily.
No.
I have 5 or 6 other projects that I have in the works. So possibly we will be doing another one.
Will there be a follow-up to the Year of the Salmon?
I think it will be called the year of not writing grants because the people at the Lake Champlain Basin program are wonderful.
Yes.
But this it is a lot to do a grant of this nature. There's a lot of reporting, and it adds. Making the movie is great, and the actors are great, and the videographers and the editors and the writers, everybody was great, and it was a beautiful, fun, wonderful project. But there were a lot of stressors in this. Having another funding agency sort of overseeing it, and you feel a different sort of burden to them when you're just doing it all yourself, and it's all self-funded. So I don't know.
I'm sure there was something on the local news that I missed, but do you have any knowledge of how just this last weekend while I was playing in the park and you were making movies, our Year of the Salmon movie was shown once again in Richmond, Year of the Salmon International Festival.
Yeah, International Year of the Salmon.
Well, I don't know. Did we have any representation
Elizabeth Malone
there? And did you get a report back from Elizabeth?
She said it was all salmon all day, and it was a huge event. And there were 4, I believe.
And was there looting during our movie?
I don't think so. So pins were passed out, and there were programs that we've had at the Weldon. And it was a wonderful event. There were some other salmon informational videos that were shared. Ours was I believe the only one that was fictional with salmon facts sprinkled through it. So I believe we were the only ones who did anything of that nature.
This has, are you still doing a showing at the Swanton Public Library?
I hope to, as soon as we can.
And then it will be released out into the world?
I will be speaking with the grant administrator later this week.
Oh, you have to wait to...
Well, I want to make sure I'm following their protocols and procedures. Right. And that's the big challenge with working with they're so generous to give us this funding. And they've been so wonderful. But when you're doing it on your own, you're like, it sounds good, let's do that. You don't have to say, I better check. I better get this approved. So they've been wonderful and very responsive. But it does just add that other level of stress. There were many levels of stress during the Swanee 4, What the Flock, the musical filming.
What happened?
Well, the swan escaped, which was upsetting.
The swan escaped.
The swan escaped.
Now explain to the folks at home, this swan, as far as I know, this swan's not a real...
No swans were harmed in the making of this
movie. This isn't
a
real creature.
Well, it is to some of us. And it was...
But it escaped.
It wasn't where we thought it was going to be. Let's put it that way. So we had to make some really on-set, last-second changes, which involved a 10-minute break while we made good use of a variety of objects to make it all happen. And we had some new faces in this movie who were not in previous Swanees. So that's very exciting. But that's enough about that. Buy your tickets. You'll see it at Northwest Nightmares. It's showing 2 nights on Monday and Tuesday.
It's very disturbing that my daughter shared with me that her dorm, her floor, was having a Swanee marathon.
Yeah.
That's troubling to me.
I think, the youth of today really get us.
Wow.
So back to the meeting, right?
Sure, if you want. Yes.
Yeah. So
What
let's
else?
want to talk about our candidates. So we're at our next show here.
Yes.
We'll know who the new board members are.
That'll be
this
exciting.
This is exciting. We have an 11-member board, and we actually have 13 people running. So we're very fortunate that we have all these awesome people, and they are all awesome. There's not a dud in the bunch. I mean, they're all a bunch of weirdos, but none of them are duds. But we can't fit them all on in. So sadly, we're going to have to choose between 2 or 3 exceptional choices to make it all fit, and it'll be sad. I had a few people saying it's so hard. I don't know which friend not to pick. Like, well,
I don't know if we'll find out by the next episode if Van Joe is out of prison. But I reached out to Peter Martin this morning, his office. They haven't been able to get back to me before we taped here. But
Van Joe had a very
slanderous
his campaign
moment.
speech was amazing. He did. I
Well,
believe
it was something else, but he'll hear from my lawyer.
He made a great bid for his seat on the board, and he did point out a few nefarious deeds done by other board members, and that maybe that should be taken into account as you're making your decisions. I know that he's
very vocal.
He's very funny. He's very funny. We laugh a lot. So yeah.
Congratulations right now to Katie Bananas Foster for her new job at the Swanton Public Library.
That's going to be a huge help.
Fresh new face.
Yeah, and she's going to be instrumental in this whole advertising piece, getting us connected with the community calendar and getting that information up there. And the more that we can figure out how to tame that beast of advertising and marketing, the better it's going to benefit not just the library, not just the Arts Council, but all of Swanton, because let's face it, there's art in everything. And we can add an art element to almost anything. Plus we're just not going to, if we get this information, we're not just going to hold it. We want to share it with the world to try to figure out how all these really cool, fun things that are going on are shared. And I know that we talked a lot about yesterday at our meeting about Heather Buchkowski's Spotlight on Swanton, how she's going around and spotlighting the individual businesses, and this is her passion and her mission to just show how awesome Swanton is. So that hopefully you'll be seeing those videos on the Swanton Arts Council Facebook page soon too.
What did she say? She wanted to do 200?
She wants to do 200.
200 videos in 2 years? Or was it 100 videos in 2 years?
It was a lot in a little bit short amount of time, so that's great. We also talked, other things we talked about when we were going through where our coins are going, and one of the things was art shows that we want to put more money into and more resources to, whether it be our savings or fundraising or grant funding. The Art Nook at the library that we started. This is the second artist is up right now, and Marie Spear's up. She'll showcase her work there for 2 months.
And then are
Yeah,
going.
it's a hack coming in for December and January.
You're not supposed to refer to yourself as that.
Okay.
It upsets Nicole Gadwell.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, Nicole. I'm a little nervous about that. But the Art Nook is booked out until March or April of 2021.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy. So that's one of the things that's going to be on our radar is saying we have that many artists who are ready to show their work in Swanton. How can we make it? How can we expand upon this? Is there a space for a second Art Nook? Is Swanton ready for its own gallery? That's a question. Are there investors out there who are ready to to take advantage of this? You can be making 40% off all these artists. Oh my gosh, Swanton is ready for an art gallery. We have it.
Another plea for help.
Another plea for help, or another.
How's that insurance going?
Or an
anyway,
opportunity.
Do we still have an operation after the end of? Can we still gather?
November 24th, our insurance goes away because according to our current insurance, they are not comfortable covering us because we are in the business of making and distributing movies, which I didn't think we were. But hey, I get it. We're too big for you guys. So
we're looking.
So we're
Still.
looking if anyone has a suggestion about where we can go for insurance. I know that David Winchester is looking into this, and he's got calls out. He said that the Kinney Brothers Insurance was very responsive, and he's hopeful that we can come to. We've got a little bit. It's not that we've got time.
I just name dropped Nicole Gadwa. She's very excited for November 2nd.
Yep.
14 Stars Monster Mash, Halloween party and costume competition.
Yeah.
I think she already has she's had a costume for the last 3 weeks.
She's going to be setting up an artist gathering event at that. So we'll be showing up there.
At the Monster Mash?
Yeah.
She is?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, you were asleep. You probably
She's
texting
setting
the lawyer.
up an event during.
Yeah, she wants us all to go as a group of friends. So it's
not
an
art event. She's
an
trying
artist
to
gathering.
pull together.
Yeah,
yes, I heard
gathering.
that.
Yeah,
you made it sound like she was doing something there.
Well, she's going to be drinking there probably and showing off her costume and hanging out with her friends. That's what she'll be doing.
I got bored a while back and started to come up with the idea of an enemies list. So I just want to say we did congratulate Katie Foster on her new job at the library, but she went along with Van Joe last night as far as
the mudslinging.
As far as the mudslinging, she thought it was about time someone started to fight back against me, I guess. So Van Joe, Katie Foster, are the top of my enemies list right now.
Okay.
They have a chance to move down or get off the list, but that could vary from
that's lovely
month to month. Yes.
Other things we talked about were Halloween in the park. Janet Suave and David Winchester are going to be doing something with space spiders as an art installation in the Swan Pond as soon as those swans go to their winter home. Halloween in the park, I think, is Saturday, October 26th, if that's a Saturday. Is that a Saturday? Yep, we got that right. It's the same day as the Harvest Handmade Craft Show. Registrations for that are ongoing right now.
Is Heather full for that yet?
No, she still has spaces, so contact
probably
her.
not many.
Not many. You better contact her soon, but I do believe she can fill, just talk with her. She's amazing. So definitely register for that now. I think it's only $30, which is a really good deal. We've talked more about, Janet's also working on the Festival of Trees. Festival of Trees is coming up right here in St.
Explain to the
Albans.
folks what that is. What's the event?
It's a festival about trees. I really don't know. I've never attended it. I know that Donna Howard.
We're getting a tree. Mm-hmm. We get to donate it or decorate it as an arts council. Mm-hmm. The tree gets displayed in St. Albans City Hall. Is that right?
I believe so.
I think so.
Yes. Donna Howard from the Eloquent Page is the one who's organizing it.
Then there's like a
SECA.
showing of all of the trees.
And you can, and it's an auction, and people buy the trees.
And so the trees come with everything that's on it. Because are you making a decoration? What are you going to do? Can you tell
I'm going to make an ornament. So we passed around a list, and we're going to be, Janet Suave is heading this up. She's going to be decorating the tree, and it'll have ornaments from all the different Arts Council members. So there'll be a good 20, 25 ornaments, I think, on it. Handcrafted, handmade ornaments. Some will be small. Some will be like, almost like pieces of jewelry. But they'll all be like mini works of arts. I'll probably do a small
Were these real
canvas.
or fake trees that we were
I don't know.
They're given?
I believe they're fake trees. I think they're artificial trees.
And when is this event?
I know that I think it's the 4th or that weekend. I think they have to be dropped off at the 4th, so I think it's that following weekend. But the ornaments are due at our next Arts Council meeting, our December Arts Council meeting, which is December 2nd.
No, what happened to November?
Well, they're due, and the ornaments aren't due until the December meeting. The November meeting is Monday, November 4th.
We want to give one last shout out to Rise Vermont. The last of the soundstage series was completed by Mr. Seth Iacovone.
He was exceptional. My gosh.
People there that still...
He was amazing. He was amazing. The weather did not cooperate, so we had to move the venue
inside
at the last
in the
minute.
library, which I almost think was even a better place to witness the...
I did not know that you could make a guitar sound like that. It was it was an amazing, amazing show. He's
a prodigy.
he's a genius. He's got some seriously mad skills.
He's 40 years old now, and he's been
Really?
doing
He
this
doesn't
since
look-
he
he
was.
doesn't look
He's been
40.
doing this since he was 15. It's crazy.
Very excited. Another thing.
Is that going to come back next year? Like, is that was a
know.
grant?
It was a grant. It was a Rise Vermont Amplify grant. That
So
we
even
had.
if we don't get the Rise Amplified grant, will there be? How does?
When we went through our little test with putting where we want to put our money, live music, live entertainment didn't really make a hit. I think it's because we would probably search for other grants for that.
Right.
So we don't want to be pulling from our funding for it. But I mean, we definitely can apply for another Rise Vermont Amplify grant, or we can look for other grant funding. I think that we made some choices that did not help us. We should have an established rain location right up front and put that on all the posters saying, when we do our
Are you
poster
talking for the soundstage?
For the soundstage.
I can tell you something right now, which we won't get into all the ugliness, but I never liked 4 to 6.
Oh, well, it was a...
That's a horrible
we
time.
learned some lessons about when we should do things and when we shouldn't do things, and so I think that there's opportunities to make it really be a hit. People loved it. It did achieve the result of making the park a more pleasant, walkable, enjoyable space, and sort of show that there's vibrancy in the town. So we hit everything we were shooting for. Could the crowds have been bigger? Yes. Did enough people know about it? No. How? It was the same back to that advertising thing. Even though we try, we're missing a segment of the population. Hopefully, we'll get that figured out.
HLCC, that's the Highgate Library Community Center.
Okay.
Harvest Festival, their first annual,
Nice.
October 19th. That's a Saturday. That's 3 to 6. Tractor petting zoo.
Oh, very
Pumpkin
good.
decorating. Halloween campfire stories with Mr. K.
When is this whole thing?
It's October 19th.
Okay.
3 to 6.
So is that a Saturday?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so it's the Saturday before Halloween in the park in Swanton, which is an all-day event. And if you look at it,
There's campfire stories with Mr. K and Miss Virginia. I don't know who Mr. K is, but Virginia.
Kurt Valenta, possibly.
Is it? Okay.
Who knows?
Virginia is Virginia Holloman, who's
Okay.
been she's a children's storyteller who makes many appearances at the Swanton Public Library. Happy birthday to Michelle Hope. Speaking of that, her birthday was yesterday.
Nice.
I never,
and I believe Scott Ram's birthday was yesterday.
My daughter, I never give, was 18 on the 3rd. Happy birthday, Maggie.
Yes. I was
Kim
hoping.
Beer Kelly, she works at the Travel Cup.
Her
It's
birthday?
her birthday the day after Maggie's.
Oh, nice.
It's just a lot of October birthdays.
What was I going to say to you? Maggie, was trying to get her to be in Swanee for What the Flock the musical. She wasn't able to make it on Saturday.
Next year, when you get away from the vigilante swans, I think that's where she moves. She moves in.
We'll see. I've got a couple ideas for movies. We'll see what happens.
I ran into Chloe Viner just before we
Yep.
got here.
Yep.
She didn't have a chance because she was El Prego with the twins to promote her last book of poetry, but it's Dandelions and Defiance.
Oh,
You can
nice.
find that on Chloe Viner's Facebook page. The sniffling into the mic was a nice touch. That's Colin C. from St. Albans. That was from last month.
Oh, they're going to get
My
this one, too.
sniffling did not
It's probably going to get this one
translate
because
very
it's
well.
allergy season for Judy.
I don't know who Tom B. could be, but he wants to know, who's behind Judy during the taping of your show? Is there anyone, or is it just voices?
It's because I was looking this way.
A lot of times you're talking to somebody that's not behind you.
It's because there's a monitor right there.
I think it's the devil on your shoulder.
It's an angel on my shoulder.
Oh.
One thing we didn't mention.
Quickly, we're about to.
Emotion Speaks is
Emotion
coming up.
Speaks.
Emotion Speaks.
We'll talk about it next
All right.
time.
Okay.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Northwest, for having us, and we will see you in November. Take care.